Hey there, YouTubers. Kitten Hoarder here, and you're watching Session Report, the show that takes you to the gamer's table to share in the surprises that come out during play. And we are playing Paperback by Tim Fowers. And I remembered a very important rule for the game that I have been missing this entire game. So this video is basically shaping up to be quite a train wreck. But I'm going to release it anyway because that's the kind of generous person I am. You get to share in the destruction. So basically, what I remembered was that these common letters, these common cards, why are they called common cards? There's got to be a good reason for that. I was thinking after I drew this hand where I basically have nothing that I can play, there's no vowels, I was thinking, well, I know that the wild cards are supposed to sort of be the vowels, but there's something else in this game other than these two-letter cards that gives you access to vowels. What was it? Because I don't remember having this problem before where you just draw a hand and you can't do anything with it. I remembered the common cards. So aside from that first common card that I got, which was that space bar, these common cards are generally vowels. And they're called common cards because any player can use that letter. So this could have made a huge difference in my entire game up until now, because basically it would have been one extra letter I could use in every single one of my words. So remember back when I said I couldn't quite make the word perforate? Well, there was an E right here in the common letters. I could have made the word perforate. That would have been one extra cent and one extra letter, and I probably could have earned that E from playing that. So big mistake on my part. Do not make that mistake. It's kind of well hidden in the rules, I have to say, if you're just skimming them, which is what I did. Having not played this game in several years, I just sort of scanned the rules because I basically remember how to play. And it's here in Create a Word. It says, form a word using the cards you have in your hand. Fame cards can be used as any letter. You may also use the topmost common card once by referring to it. So that's pretty much the only place. There's no like special section in the rules that says using common cards or anything like that. It's just kind of hidden in that one little line. In any case, that changes this turn tremendously, because if I look at my hand here, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. P, T, H, N, E, D. But I've got another E in there, so I can probably make something with this. So what can I make, and what was happening in the narrative? I don't remember. So we're going to start a new scene again. Ooh, I like this one. Wow, this really fits this theme. Wow. Yes. Werewolves and vampires. Pretty cool. Okay. So let's see what we can make. I would love to use the P, plus one card in my next hand. I would love to use the H. I would love to use the T, plus one card in my next hand. If I can end the word with a T. And then there's also the ED, which is going to be worth a lot of cents. So let's see. Well, fet, no. Het, no. Pet, I could use. So I could just basically have not a very high scoring turn, but draw two extra cards in my next hand. I could also make a more high scoring turn and do heed. And after scoring, put one used card back on top of your deck. That sounds like maybe a better move. I wouldn't get those extra cards in my next hand, but I would basically be scoring a 7-cent word. Because, remember, I get 1 cent for that common card. Man, that would have made so much difference through this whole game if I had remembered that rule. So I think heed is a really good one. So, again, I don't quite remember what we were doing last time I was recording. I do remember the general story threads, but let's just go ahead and start a new scene. No, let's end the scene. I believe we had Professor Hildegard, who was in her study, or in her kitchen. She had been eating some fish. She had been eating some, what is the word for that? That little fish that comes in a can. I want to say asparagus, that's not right. So she'd been eating some anchovies, some canned anchovies. She'd been thinking about what a crappy gig she has teaching, and she had been thinking about the research that she'd been doing. And then she had a thought. And her thought was, we're going to use H-E-E-D. Her thought was, heed the warning signs. She wasn't sure where that thought came from. It just sort of popped into her head. Heed the warning signs. Summon the warrior. And that will be the end of that scene. So we've got a 7-cent word, and I get to put one of these back on top of my deck. Well, of course, I'm probably going to put H back. But let's see what I can make. Well, I could get this Z, which is worth a ton of points. And fame cards cost -1 cent. Or I can get the M, which I use it once, and it gives me double my word score. We're going to grab the Z. I think that's a good card to get. So we're going to grab that Z, and we're going to put the H back on top so I can keep putting it back on top of my deck every turn. And then we will discard all the rest of my cards. And we'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will roll, and we'll put another cube over here. All right, back over to the Ghost Rider. So this is actually pretty cool. I could make less, right? L-E-S-S, but I think I'm going to go for this one, few. Again, I'm using my common letter, and because the card is 4 letters or less, I get +1 card in my next hand, and I can trash a card from hand. If I do, gain a card worth 1 cent more. So I'm going to trash, I could trash this 4-cent card and get a 5-cent card. And for instance, I could get this S and turn it into a C. But I kind of like this S because it gives me +1 cent per wild. And her Ghost Rider ability, she really wants to have wilds. But the problem is if I trash this other 2 letters, I don't gain anything for that. And oh, I have an R as well, I guess. Oh, no, that R is the next turn that I'm getting. I think, even though I really like this S, and it has been very useful to me, I'm going to trash it. We're going to go ahead and trash that. We're going to gain a 5-cent card because I can then get a C. Trash a card from hand. If you do, gain a card worth 2 cents more. I think that would be quite a nice one to have. All right, and then we've got 8-9 cents for the word few. So I'm going to grab this V for sure. +3 cards in my next hand. My gosh, that's a great card, and it'll really synergize with her abilities. Oh, wow, a 10-cent card. A Q. All right. So few. Let me see. We're going to introduce a new character. And the new character's name is going to be... Let me think. Wrote. R-O with an umlaut. T. Wrote. Why? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word. No, we'll change it actually. I want to do Tor. Tor. I think that's a great word. Tor. All right. Tor stared out at the empty stretch of beach. Few people came here anymore. Few people knew of this place anymore. All right. So that's the word few. Got an extra card in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check out her hand. And 1 wild. All right. All right, and we've got a roll. 6. All right, so we got a cube on Vicious Triangle. We got to try and get 11 cents somehow soon. So I grabbed my hand for Stuck Key here. I think it's Stuck Key's turn. Unless that was the hand I just drew. And I think Ghost Rider is the hand I just drew. So it's Stuck Key's turn. And I've got these letters, H-O-N-S-U, and a wild card. And I've been looking at it for a little bit. I know I can make the word bonus. Bonus. But I think a better choice will actually be the word hones. And we'll just ignore the U this turn. I don't want to use the usability anyway. So hones, H-O-N-E-S. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite enough to trigger the ability on the S. But hones is a fairly decent word. 7 cents. Ooh, and I could get another letter that lets me put a card back on top of my deck. So hones. What was his name? Tor. Tor looks down and hones the blade in his lap. Changed tense a little bit there, but that's okay. So we've got 7 cents for that. I could get any of these, really. I could get multiple of these. I could get, for instance, a 4 cent and a 3 cent letters. But let's see what we've got up in the higher cost ones. Gain a card costing up to 6 cents. You may make an adjacent card wild. It still scores. That's pretty nice. And after scoring, put 1 used card back on your deck. We're going to go just for the big money ones. And hopefully we'll get some good turns in the future where I can use a lot of these cards at once. So we're going to go grab that one, put these back, and we will draw up. And let's see. Oh, and I get to put one of the cards back on top of my deck. So 1 used card back on top of my deck. I think I'm going to actually put this, you may trash a card from hand, on top of my deck. And then where do we put a cube out? Angel of Death. So we're basically on the brink of losing with this Angel of Death card. I've got to get 11 cents somehow. In one of the next few hands, or I am toast. In fact, I need to get 11 cents multiple hands in a row, or I will be toast. But I like toast, so that's at least there's some good to come of it. All right. Two, three, four, 5. All right. Let's not even look at the hand. Let's go back to our Ghost Rider. All right. So we've got, ooh, big hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I can use the common letter as well, I will have an 11 cent hand, and I'll be able to purchase one of these 2 cards. So what can I make? All right. A-R-D-T-E, U, and R. Wow. Whew, my goodness. A lot of R's. Well, tear, 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 rude, rud. If I could only use all these letters, I would be in a pretty good place. Arted, rarded. Is there any words that end with arted but have an R in them? Let's see. Hearted. I could use the E and do hearted. Like chicken-hearted or lion-hearted. But I also kind of want to use this U, which gives me +2 cards in my next hand. And I definitely want to use the D. All right, let me think about this a little bit more. Okay, I think we're just going to go with rude, because it's not the highest scoring hand I could make, but it's going to give me +2 cards in my next hand. I want to make sure I get that, and I can gain a card costing up to 6 cents. So I used my two good abilities, and if I made Herded, which was my other thought, it would only be a few cents more that I would be getting, and I wouldn't get to use this +2 cards ability. So we're just going to do Rude. So Tor, well, let's just switch to present tense because we did it in the last scene. Tor looks down at the rude blade made of ivory, let's say. Made of ivory. The rude ivory blade in his hand. Or maybe it should be some sort of a metal. I think actually a metal. The rude blade in his hand made of, let's say, skystone. Skystone. So meteoric iron, basically, is what I'm thinking of. Okay, cool. So rude. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to gain a card costing up to 6 cents. Let's grab this G. Ooh, I definitely like that W. And then we're also going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can grab another 6-cent card. Well, I'm going to grab that W while I'm here. And +2 cards in my next hand. So we're going to do 2 extra cards in my next hand. Put all this back. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll roll. Gosh darn it. Oh no. Ooh, we are in trouble from the Angel of Death. Let's look at my wilds. Did I get it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Now that's a terrible hand, but I can trigger my Ghost Rider ability. I reveal a hand with 4 or more wilds. I get to draw 1 more wild card. Oh boy. At the very least, I'll be able to earn the common card, but my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that do nothing in my hand. Not going to be good for me. Those wilds should have been more evenly distributed in this shuffle. That's a bad thing. Okay, so basically I need to get that 11-cent card this turn, or I possibly might lose the game. And every turn that I don't get that 11-cent card, I possibly might lose the game. So let's see what I can do. A Z! Well, if I can use the Z, then what kind of words use Z, though? Jeez Louise. Zoo. I can't make a zoo. But if I can use the Z, I'm most of the way there. Let's see, I would have to do like maybe the Z and 2 or 3 of these other... Well, I could use the U. You can make an adjacent card wild, it still scores. My gosh, I can make the Z wild, and it still scores. I could make any word. Oh, what can I make? Okay, ES, a P, a U. Oh, man. Ooh, and I can throw an E in there if I want. All right, I think I've got it. So I'm not going to use all the cards in my hand, but I still can make 11 cents. So I'm going to use my ability to make this adjacent card wild. It still scores, and it still triggers its ability. This is in the FAQ. So that 11-cent card is going to cost me 10 cents this turn. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, and then 12. I could also trash a card from hand. This P that I still have in my hand, I could trash that and gain 3 cents. But at this point in the game, trashing this 5-cent card to gain 3 cents, maybe I would do it. If I really needed that extra 3 cents, for instance, to buy the Fame card, I would do it. But I think I'm not going to. So, let's see. 12. I mean, I don't know. Because how many times is this P going to come up in the rest of the game? Not a whole lot, right? But maybe there's a better card. So I've got, what did I say I had? I have 10, 12 cents. I'm going to spend 10 cents. That gives me 2 cents. I've trashed all of these 2-cent cards already. But if I got 3 extra cents on top of that, I could buy a new 5-cent card instead of these other ones. instead of this P. So, for instance, I could get this N, which doubles the score of an adjacent card. So, for instance, I could double this B and make it a 6-cent card. I think we'll do that. Let's just, just for fun, just for poops and giggles, we're going to purchase this N, and of course we're going to purchase also the Angel of Death. All right, the Angel of Death. Amidst the lights, tumult, and business of the big city, she spun a web of intrigue, deception, and murder. She owned this city, and she was the only one who could save it. Pretty cool. All right, we're doing pretty well. And blues, I didn't really see. So he looked over the shifting blues of the water. These blues seem to change from second to second, and yet they were the same blues of the water from centuries before, millennia even, the last time he'd looked over them. All right. Perfect. All right, I have about 5 to 10 minutes left on this camera before I have to offload the footage. I'm going to see if I can win the game in that time. So let's see what we can do. So we're back over to the Ghost Rider. We've already seen her hand. It's ridiculous. But if I can use every card in this hand, I can at least earn this common card. I can get this E and reveal the next common, although E is a very useful common letter to have. I mean, E is in more words than any other vowel in the English language, as far as I know. Just, one of those little bits of trivia. So I think to maximize the score, I want to end with LS. I definitely want to end with S, because if I end with S, I get +1 card in my next hand. I also want to end with L, so I can double the score of that S. Double the score of an adjacent card. So I get 3 cents instead of a pretty useless 2 cents. Actually, I could get 4 cents if I use the common letter too. But what kind of word ends with LS and has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters in addition to the LS? What kind of words end with LS? Like elementals? I don't think is really a word, because elemental is more of an adjective than a noun. Trials is a word, but it's too short. I don't really need to do the LS, because if I can get that 1 cent from the common letter, I can basically get a 3-cent card. And that's at least not completely worthless. So, man, when you have this much freedom, when you have so many wild letters, it's kind of difficult. Just think of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-cent or 9-letter word. What is a 9-letter word? Can you think of one off the top of your head? I sure can't. So let's think about what's happening in the scene instead. Man, I really wish I still had that S that gave me +1 cent for every wild I use in the word, but I do not. So I was thinking of immortals, I-M-M-O-R-T, but not enough letters, and there's no E's in that word. Then the other thought I had was eternals, E-T-E-R-N-A-L-S, but I don't think eternals is a word, unlike immortals. Although honestly, if immortals can be a word, why can't eternals be a word? I just don't think it is. So then I'm thinking of something like something else, something to do with long lengths of time, but I can't think of anything that includes an L in it. What is eternities? No, that's too long. E-T-E-R-N-I-T. Nope, too long. What about like guardians, right? What's a word that means the same thing as guardians? Sentinels. Sentinels is good. S-E-N-T-I-N-E-L-S. That's a great word. I'll take it. Sentinels. That's how you spell that, I believe. S-E-N-T-I-N-E-L-S. So, Tor was the last of the sentinels of this land. The warriors chosen to fight the, well, let's not give it a name. Let's call it the Walking Evil. The Walking Evil. Okay, so I've got 4 cents for that. And I get to earn this common letter. The next common letter would be an I. Well, I'll need a 9-letter word to do that. All right, so I can get a 4-cent card, NG or CH. Urgh. Let's go ahead for the CH. Yeah, we'll go ahead with the CH. Okay, and then I do get +1 card in my hand. Yeah, for the S. So I'm going to get 1, and then I'm going to have to shuffle up. While I'm doing that, let's go ahead and roll here. Oh, I can't really roll because the only revealed card is this one, so it's going to have to get one of these. So basically, I, again, have 4 more turns to try and do this. I've got to do this. Okay, I'm going to pause now while I shuffle. So I've got 4.5 minutes of recording left. I want to try and do this before I fill up the tape, so let's just get right into the next turn. Oh no! Pretty useless hand. Well, I can make an I, but really all I care about is using, let's say, these 4 cents. The I, the S, the R, and the space. So IS space, red. Man, I'm shifting verb tense again, but I guess that's going to have to do. He looks down at the blade again, and for a minute, it is red. Red with the blood of his quarry. But then he blinks, and it's back to the yellowy white of the ivory. All right, so is red. 4 cents. I can get one of these. Let's see. I think I want to get... We'll get this T. I think it's a little more flexible, and it gets me +1 card in the next hand. Again, I'm probably not going to last. The game's not going to last until I shuffle again, so it's not really make a difference. I don't need to roll. We're just going to put a cube out. Okay, let's do this next hand. Whoa! All right. Wow, I got 1 vowel, and then I can use the I. If there's a first letter in the word plus 2 cents, well, let's see. If I have a wild left in hand, no, but I do want to use the W if I can. But, I mean, how am I going to... I can't think of anything. I mean, I can do win. I can do wins. All right. I could do pins, and that would be the same as playing the W. I can't think of anything that uses the W and the I. But let me pause and think a second more. Okay, I think this is the best I can come up with. Pints. It's still not a very high-scoring word, but, I mean, pints is pretty good. So I'm going to get 4 cents, 5 for the common, 6, 7, 8 cents for that word. That's not bad. If there's any way I could use the W, it would be perfect. Maybe if you're watching the video, you can think of something in the comments. But as of now, I think pints is what I'm going to do. So he remembered spilling their blood, pints of their blood, their tainted blood, back in his glory days. But it had been so long now, and he was so tired. All right, so pints. Then I'm going to get +2 cards in my next hand. 1, 2. And then I'm going to get, I think I said it was 4, 6, 7, 8. 8 cents. I can get a J. We'll just go grab the J. Like I said, I'm probably not going to, the game's not going to last until I reshuffle the deck, so it doesn't make a huge difference. And these are my 2 extra cards, I believe, for my next hand draw. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. So it should be 7 cards. Do I have 4 wilds? I have 3 wilds. This Ghost Rider is the most useless power. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to put another cube out, and we're basically either going to... Oh no, did I not draw? We're either going to win the game or lose the game on this turn. So let's see. Well, not win the game, but we might lose the game this turn. All right, folks. I believe this is it. I looked at the cards in my hand, and I thought about it for a little while, and I realized that, you know what I can make with this hand? S-H-I. So, this is going to be the last word of the game. After this turn, we're going to lose the game. So we need to find some way to kind of wrap up